Welcome to Coug on the Clock. I am your host, Karrington Kincaid, along with,
Preston Horgan.
and we are going to dive into many topics around sports, just across the country, as well as the college. So, let's dive right into it. Let's do this. Um, First, we're going to dive into the spring game. Washington State's football spring game that takes place on April 23rd around 3 o'clock. What do you think about this, man? It's been a crazy this college football season for the Cougars just in general, just with a lot of the coaching changes, a lot of the drama surrounding our former coach from Hawaii. And it's just like, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm excited to see Cam Ward. I think that's kind of the big debut. He's reunited with his head coach, Eric Morris, who's going to be the new offensive coordinator for WSU. And I'm really excited to see how that offense plays in the spring game.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like we're taking our offense. It's kind of becoming more of a faster paced type of offense, kind of like what we had in the past when we had Mike Leach with the air raid offense, when we had Luke Falk as our quarterback, And I miss seeing that camaraderie with the players and just everyone just kind of going down the field, scoring that many points, getting touchdowns, playing good defense. And I think if we go back to that, we'll be a very successful team and possibly contend for the Pac-12 North this year. So I think it'll be cool to see, So I'm really excited for this.
I'm excited to see who replaces, Max Borghi at running back.
Oh, tell me
And
about
then
it,
your
man.
receivers, we're losing Harris and Calvin Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Abraham Lucas could be a first-round pick this year at tackle.
That's what I'm saying.
Devastating losses that could really hurt our chances to win the Pac-12 North.
Well, I know the new quarterback we got is really prolific. I wonder.
He has the 20th best odds to win the Heisman, I believe, Cam Ward. So
yeah, Cam Ward. That's what I'm saying. It's just,
if you want interesting, if you can make a bet, he could be a dark horse favorite.
And I think those dark horse players are the ones who are probably the most dangerous because you really don't get the. Okay, for sure. But yeah, I think it'll be crazy to see, what happens. On to the next. Well, okay, we're gonna dive into the NFL draft, the top 10 picks of what.
April 28th.
April 28th. So who we think is going to be taken in each of the picks. Start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe this draft is probably one of the most unpredictable drafts we've ever seen in NFL history. There are multiple players who could just be the first round pick overall. We can start off with Steve Hutchinson's son, Aiden Hutchinson, who currently at Michigan as a senior, ready to commit to the draft. Very prolific pass rusher. Has his dad's athleticism, as shown. So, who do you think is going to be like the first pick?
Well, I think the Jags are going to go with Hutchinson and number one overall. Even though they could go O-line to protect Trevor Lawrence, I think they're going to take Hutchinson. I think he's a safe pick for them at number one.
Yeah.
And I think, and draft O-line later on. But I think Hutchinson, he's the clear number one overall player in this draft. And I think that's who the Jags go with.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Going to the quarterback, and the quarterbacks have been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I know Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, Matt Strong. I know even Matt Corral. I know they've all been
Sam Howell.
They've all been in the conversation for possibly going in the first. Who do you think Carolina's going to take?
I think they go Pickett.
You think they go Pickett?
I don't think Sam Darnold's the answer, and I think Matt Rule needs a quarterback. He needs to win. So I think he's going to, draft Kenny Pickett, have him sit behind Darnold, and, we'll see if Pickett plays at all this year. But I think Kenny Pickett's the first quarterback off the board at 6th.
I agree. And people don't realize that Matt Rule has a really good relationship with Kenny Pickett. They've had prior history with each other. So that further leads to the possibility of Kenny Pickett possibly going to the Panthers, knowing their prior relationship. Although they have met with Malik Willis, it is possible that they could look at him. But I think Kenny Pickett would be the right choice for that team. Now here's the craziest selection, I think personally, of the draft with the Seattle Seahawks after the Russell Wilson trade. People speculate the Seahawks taking a quarterback or a corner or a defensive lineman. Personally, for me, I think we'll take a quarterback. I think quarterback would be the best choice, in my opinion, for the Seahawks. I think having that youth is going to really bring like a core back together, kind of like when we first drafted Russell, and I think that's what the Seahawks need overall. Who do you think?
I think they go Malik Willis at 9.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't
too.
think Drew Lock's the answer. And I think they're
Absolutely
going to draft Malik Willis, and Pete Carroll's going to develop him, and he's going to be the future of the Seattle Seahawks.
I think so too, and I think it's just gonna be a great showing, from the young rookie, and he's gonna be exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna move on to the
The play-in game.
Yeah, the playing game.
The Los Angeles
Man.
Clippers lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 109-104, at Minnesota in an emotional game, I would say, especially that ending.
And it's like I get it, because when we talk about Patrick Beverly, he used to play for the Clippers, so
Mhm.
him playing in the playing game, going to Minnesota and beating his former team, obviously that's going to draw like a lot of attention in terms of like getting excited, getting hyped because you beat your former team who disrespected you, and have beef with them or whatever. But what about his reaction? Man, his reaction was quite.
He acted like he just won the NBA Finals.
It was just a scene.
Throwing
And,
his jersey off, he got fined for his use of profanity.
Yeah, and people don't really tend to realize, players do this stuff all the time, not only in basketball but in football as well. This tends to become a problem because you put pressure on yourself, not only on yourself but the entire team. When you make a scene like this, very cocky, very, just brash about, you're possibly the best team, no one can beat y'all, just saying you're the best or whatever. I mean, if you even look at the clips of him from different angles, Cat was not having it. He was not liking it at all. He was honestly embarrassed by his actions. And it's just kind of crazy that his reaction was that way. So now, from comments, people expect him to go far, like to the finals, and possibly win the entire thing, which seems very unlikely. But we'll have to see what happens exactly. So
They take on Memphis in their second round, next round, and I don't think they get past Memphis. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns had his worst game of the year, 3 for 11 from the floor, fouled out in only 24 minutes of playing time.
You think he'll rebound from it like next game?
I
I remember reading a comment saying that he's not tripping. Quote from him, he's not tripping on his game that he had, which wasn't the best. Will he have the courage and the ability to rebound from that loss? I mean, not from the loss, it's from not playing as well and stuff. What do you think?
Well, I think so. I think they'll give the Grizz a run for their money, except, this is their first playoff appearance since 2018.
Yeah.
I think it should be a good series, but I think I got Grizzly winning in 6.
That seems likely.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very likely. Man. Okay, we're going to finally wrap this thing up with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, on Wednesday the 13th, received a 3-year, $121.5 million contract extension for the Las Vegas Raiders. Personally, for me, this is very well deserved of Derek Carr. I think he's been one of the most consistent QBs in the league, under the radar for a very long time, ever since he was drafted in 2014 to the Raiders. One of the first signs was how clutch he is in moments. He doesn't fade. He doesn't shy away from the pressure. It may sound crazy, but the first time I've watched him play was that 2014 preseason game against the Seahawks, his rookie year. It was in Oakland, and he put on an absolute show. And when I tell you making throws that were just unbelievable and just the most crucial moments, that's when I knew, just in the preseason game, that he could be a very special player. And it's proven over the course of his career. We're talking about a player who could have possibly won MVP in 2016 before a crucial injury that ended his season, taking the Raiders to the playoffs at that point. And over the course of his career, he's just made great plays, and you can't take it away from him, and you can't just ignore that. What do you think?
Well, I think this says a lot about Josh McDaniels. This is his second attempt at being a head coach, and you don't get a third one in this league. I think he doesn't want to tear down. I think with the Devontae Adams trade, Adams and Carr, they played together in college. They're going to reunite in the pros. Let's see how they do there. But I think, this is the Raiders finally giving Derek Carr that big contract. If you remember, during the Gruden years, it was, are they going to draft another quarterback? There's rumors that they could have gone up and grabbed Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So now it's sort of Carr is being reaffirmed here, and that'll take him through 2025.
Well, just thinking about this, Derek Carr's had multiple head coaches throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had Jack Del Rio, who obviously took him to the playoffs in 2016.
Yeah.
Had John Gruden. Now he has Josh McDaniels. He even coached previously.
He took Rich Bisaccia on a playoff run.
That's what I'm saying. And people don't tend to realize, that he's making these magical things happen for this team. I mean, you can even flash back to the Week 1 game of 2016. They played the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. and they won the game off a 2-point conversion to the left corner to Michael Crabtree for the win. And it was a clutch performance by Derek Carr. He made all the plays necessary to get down the field to win the game, and they won 35-34.
Yeah.
And that's against a good Saints team at home. I mean, in New Orleans.
In New
I mean,
Orleans.
who does that? You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Well, for all this hype about Derek Carr, he still is the 4th best quarterback in that division, though, which is crazy to think about how stacked the AFC West is. It's the SEC of of the NFL divisions.
and I think personally for me, I think they can be the most dangerous this year.
You think so? Even ahead of Denver? Ahead of the Chargers?
I like what they got going for sure.
You like that Chandler Jones signing?
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little
You know
bit.
what I'm saying? And that's gonna wrap up Coug on the Clock. I appreciate everyone tuning in to listen to our headlines of what's going on around the NFL, basketball, along with watching state sports. Please tune in next time to Coug on the Clock. You can follow us on Twitter at WazzuNet, and then also make sure to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube,
Cable 8.
as well as Instagram. Follow us on Washington Sports Network, and the more we get looked at, the more we can probably put ourselves out there for other people to watch, bigger platforms. So definitely give us that help, and we appreciate your views. So have a great night, everybody.